G'day team, and welcome to our weekly brief in the virtual kitchen we all dream of. Just got to put in a few finishing touches. There, perfect. Well, as most of you may have heard, we're getting a wrap. No, not as in this wrap. This type of wrap. A reconciliation action plan. And because we're in this virtual world, I'll be able to see and hear your questions. Here's some now. What is a reconciliation action plan? Why is it important, and what do I have to do? Great questions, which I'm going to answer in the following short video, because I know most of you like videos from the amount that some of you share with me. And by the way, keep the funny animal videos coming. So, grab your organic, decaffeinated, triple cold press, single origin, ethically sourced green tea, get comfortable and watch on. First, we're going to begin by doing an acknowledgement to country. And seeing as our hotel is on Gadigal land, that's where we're going to begin. So I'd like to acknowledge that the hotel where we work is on the traditional lands of the Gadigal people of the Aurora Nation, and pay my respects to elders past, present and future. So back to the questions. What is a reconciliation action plan? Basically, a reconciliation action plan is a type of contract that businesses and organisations make that states what actions they are going to take to further reconciliation. Now, on to our next question. Why is a reconciliation action plan important? To answer this, we need to go back 250 years to 1770, when Captain James Cook discovered Australia and claimed it for the British Crown. So the English moved in, and they were not respectful and certainly did not follow any of the rules and laws of the Aboriginal people or their land. In fact, they brought all their own laws and practices, such as land ownership and removing Aboriginal children from their families. The English weren't good house guests at all. They brought vices such as smoking and alcohol and horrible viruses and diseases. They forced the Aboriginal people off their lands, took away their children and treated them dreadfully. And this went on for a very, very, very long time. Discriminating against Aboriginal people was so entrenched within Australia's social and political institutions that it was difficult for a lot of people to even recognise what was going on. The legacy of this still affects many Aboriginal people today, and whilst most of us may not see the effects of this with our own eyes, there is nonetheless a ton of inquiries, reports and research that say time and time again that Aboriginal people are still significantly disadvantaged compared to non-Aboriginal Australians. So, as we can see, there's a lot to reconcile between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal Australia. And that's why a reconciliation action plan is important. It's a starting point for reconciliation that we can all be involved in, supported by the hotel. We can think of it as an opportunity for us to make real positive steps towards reconciliation, minus the hindrance of government and politicians. While some of you may think now that this won't change much, we're just one hotel and really what can we do? To answer that, using the words of Kev Carmody and Paul Kelly, from little things, big things grow. And that's how we can think of our reconciliation action plan. It may be a small step, but it's a start for bigger things. So now on to our last question. What do I have to do? This is where the fun really starts. We're all going to do a 4-week Indigenous learning program that's going to help us all better understand what it is we want to achieve, how we are going to achieve it, and a time frame for achieving the goals of our reconciliation action plan. And when I say all, that means everyone. The general manager, HR, executive chef, everyone within the hotel will do this learning program at some stage. And kitchen staff, we're up first. I can see another question popping up. Where are these lessons going to be and how are they going to run? Great questions, Madison. Distinction for you. Firstly, all lessons are going to be delivered face to face. Nothing is online. You won't be needing a phone or a device of any sort. However, don't panic. There's going to be plenty of visual content such as videos and PowerPoints. So all of the lessons are going to be held away from the kitchen in function room 1. Yep, we get the comfy chairs, lots of space and aircon so everyone can be comfortable and free from work distractions and noise. The room is going to be set up with tables and chairs in a circle so we can talk and discuss content together, rather than just the facilitator, me, up the front talking and talking, because you as participants and what you think, your questions and responses, is an important part of the learning environment in line with Aboriginal culture. So the first lesson, an introduction to Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander culture and peoples, is, as the title suggests, an introduction with the aim of increasing awareness of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and knowledge of culture, so we can create a more welcoming and respectful workplace for Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander peoples, and in fact all peoples, which incidentally is another positive of doing this learning program. We will be viewing a short video and then we're going to yarn about the film. Obviously we're going to be looking at Australian history, Aboriginal relations and stereotypes, which can be challenging at times. After all, there is a lot of darkness. However, we're also going to do this consistent with Aboriginal culture, so that means we're going to do this together. We're going to support and learn from each other, which is just one of the many great things that Aboriginal culture and its peoples have given non-Aboriginal Australia. Collaborative learning that is done together with others and their stories and journeys and those of their families and friends before them. Acknowledging and respecting stories and journeys of others is how we learn together. So, you may be pushed a little or a lot out of your comfort zone. However, in keeping with Aboriginal culture, it's a gentle and supported push. In the second lesson, called Walking on Land, we're going to go outside, take our shoes and socks off so we can feel the grass, the rocks, the land, and we're going to think and talk, yarn, about places that are special to us and why. I know some of you must be thinking, isn't the program meant to be about Aboriginal culture? Why would we be thinking and talking about ourselves? Well, that's what I first thought anyway when I started my learning journey. You see, the thing is, which is another one of the great things about Aboriginal culture, is that your story, who you are, is fundamental to learning about Aboriginal culture to begin with. By understanding ourselves, knowing where we stand in the world, sharing stories and listening to the stories and journeys of others in harmony with Aboriginal culture is how we respect Aboriginal culture, its peoples, and in fact all peoples. In the third lesson, we're going to be looking at a Papunyatula painting and learn about new ways of thinking and connecting with others, which again is in line with Aboriginal culture. We'll be looking at the painting Wallagulong by brothers Tim Lura and Clifford Possum and their connection to the creation story which inspires the painting. There will be a group discussion about the painting and questions relating to the artwork and creation stories. And in the fourth and final lesson, titled Our Culture, Our Future, we will be going back over what we have learnt, where we are now, and where we want to be. Self-reflection again plays a role in this lesson, as it does throughout the learning program, consistent with Aboriginal culture. You'll be thinking about and sharing with others what you have learnt, and as a group, working through some of the actions and changes that are needed to ensure a sense of welcome and respect within the hotel. Kind of like planning out the framework for the hotel's wrap. So, as you can see, there will be lots of different ways we are going to learn that cater for different learning styles and ways of responding. If you're not confident in writing, you'll be able to draw. If speaking in front of a large group is not your thing, you won't have to. In the final lesson, you'll pair up with someone and share between the two of you what you have learnt. And most importantly, in line with Aboriginal culture, there will be lots of discussion, yarning, storytelling and questions. By putting learning and Aboriginal culture at the forefront of this learning program, we can really respect the diverse learning styles of you, the learner, and deliver content in a culturally meaningful way. And on a final note, aside from the positives already mentioned of doing this course, such as being a part of good social change, there are also many other positive learning outcomes that will serve you well in both your professional and personal life, such as addressing diversity, leading and managing discussions on sensitive issues, as well as facilitate and introduce new and challenging ideas. So keep an eye out in your email for further details, as well as posters up around the hotel, and I look forward to welcoming you all to the learning sessions as we embark on the wrap journey together. Thanks everyone for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe, whatever that means. Bye for now.